بيسعدني ويشرفني، وبحب قوي ان انا اقدم الاخت العزيزه والصديقه الجميله يعني دكتوره شروت الاحمدي. يعني بغض النظر عن علمها اللي مفيش حد يختلف عليه، لكن اخلاق وادب، والحقيقه يعني انا من الشخصيات النادره اللي ممكن تقابلها في حياتك. فانا سعيده جدا ان غالبا في كل مؤتمر بنحضره مع بعض بيكون لي الشرف ان انا اقدم دكتوره شروت الاحمدي. وانا هديها بقى هي الفرصه تقول لنا ان بريف كده السي في بتاعتها اللي هي طويله ومشرفه الحقيقه. فيعني اهلا بيكي دكتوره شروت.
ميرسي يا دكتور منى. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Hisham El Ghazali and Dr. Sahar Radi for this invitation. Sahar is a personal friend. Just so that all of you know, I am not a clinical pharmacist. I am proud to be a pharmacognosist and a أستاذ في قسم العقاقير at the Faculty of Pharmacy, Ain Shams University. And I recently, alhamdulillah, yani, last year I graduated from a diploma of nutrition for healthcare professionals from the American University in Cairo. It was an addition, and I used to teach nutrition, and it is one of my passions because I believe that lifestyle and what you eat and what you do affects very much your health, and I still believe in this. And I think this is my 4th or 5th year to be presenting in BGICC, and usually my topics are related in one way or another to our everyday life. So when Sahar, my friend, called me a few months back, and she told me if I'd like to present something today, I thought of a new topic. And the first thing that came to my head was microbiota. She said it was taken. I said, okay, what about supplements and cancer? She said that was taken. So it was very difficult for me to choose a topic. But then I remembered that a lot of us, every day, we face some challenges with our thoughts. And أنا لسه ما ابتديتش على فكرة presentation ببص على التايمر بس. What really causes cancer? What can we do in our life to prevent cancer? Most of my topics or my talks are on cancer prevention because I do not treat. But there are many little things that come up to our heads once we think about what we eat every day. All of us, we think about canned foods, الحاجات المعلبات، المية اللي في البلاستيك، أشرب المية اللي في البلاستيك كل قد إيه، السموك، التحمير، الكلام ده كله it comes up to our heads بس we're not really sure وبنسمع كلام كتير. So I thought to myself, okay, this might be an interesting topic and I'm sure I will find a lot of evidence-based studies. The surprise is I found everything on the American Cancer Society website. I found a lot of things on the WHO, and this is what I'm going to be presenting today. So the title of my presentation is Hidden Attributes of Cancer in Our Diet. Tamam, I'm not talking about smoking, I'm not talking about UV radiation, I'm specifically talking about our diet. كده ممكن بقى نبتدي نعد نبتدينا خلاص. This is my introduction. Cancer is preventable and treatable. Where leading causes of cancer that are known to everybody, and these are the most leading causes, are tobacco. مفيش علب السيجارة مش مكتوب عليها إن this causes cancer, infections, alcohol, obesity, and pollution. طيب. When I started digging about some information, I found a review article that was dated 1981, 40 years ago. Amazing, amazingly 40 years ago. And this is the abstract that was in the paper, okay? So I'm just going to shed some, I'm afraid to highlight it in red, but I'm going to shed some light on what was there in literature in 1981. They talked about carcinogens naturally occurring in food. Well, this was the topic. And then we see things like plants during harvesting, storage, products of normal metabolism of plants اللي هو طبعا تخصصي, preservation, preparation, pickling, contamination of water or oil. And then there are types of carcinogens that are very well known till today اللي هي fungal metabolites such as aflatoxins. Contamination with aflatoxins رهيبة. In peanuts, وبعدين شفت بقى حاجات زي ايه specific metabolites like saffron from the oil of various plants, tannins in tea, ودي كانت بالنسبة لي غريبة جدا ودي مش موجودة خلاص دلوقتي, دي من الحاجات اللي اختفت. Polycyclic hydrocarbons including benzoylpyrene formed by smoking, وده لحد دلوقتي موجود. And then all of this was very inclined towards digestive system, gastric cancer, and so forth. So this was in 1981. When I digged up some more, I found that in the early 1980s, there was this boost of research and studies, a lot of research and studies, especially in the early 80s. And there was also this book chapter that I found. The title of the book chapter was 12 Naturally Occurring Carcinogens and the Relation to Diet, Nutrition, and Cancer. And again, what they stated was mycotoxins بأنواعها المختلفة, في كذا نوع, بس it was basically aflatoxins, hydrazines in certain types of mushrooms, not all mushrooms, and then there was يعني a plethora of plant constituents and metabolites, and for me this was new news. يعني أنا عارفة طبعا أن pyrrolizidine alkaloids some of them do cause cancer, allylic and propanolilic benzene derivatives, estrogenic compounds, احنا الكلام ده عارفينه, ودايما بنخاف قوي من صويا ميلك والكلام ده. coffee, ايه ده ازاي؟ methyl xanthines, اللي هو theobromine والtheophylline, thiourea, tannic acid تاني, coumarins which are يعني present in many plants. And then we have the hormones present in the metabolites of animal origin, fermentation products, and I think most of us know that nitrates, nitrites, and N-nitroso compounds that mainly are used for preservation, and many foods were also mentioned in the early 80s. تمام؟ طيب. Today, yesterday, or a week ago when I was preparing this presentation, this is the website for the American Institute for Cancer Research, and they have a page called 40 Years of Progress, because this is when they were established, برضو in the early 80s. And what they did most of the focus was research on evidence-based causes of cancers, or what are carcinogens. So the conclusion or the findings or what they're working on now is the following. Number one, dietary patterns matter. What you eat, how you eat it, how you cook it, how much you eat of it, weight and body fat. طبعا ده ما فيش اختلاف عليه. You need to be in your reasonable weight, not ideal weight, but reasonable weight. And you need to reduce from your body fat, visceral fat, which causes a lot of hormones to be jumping up and down in your system that might cause also cancer. And then the hot topic now, or it has been for the last decade, our microbiomes, because as you know, the microbiota now either will hasten, some of them does hasten cancer, but most of the inhibits whatever we eat. Some fibers, for example, that affect the microbiota will inhibit cancer, but some of them do hasten when we eat the wrong type of food. And of course, exercise. So, what causes cancer in our diet? Because this is what we're talking about now, and this is the website of the American Cancer Society. And this is what they say on the website. American Cancer Society does not determine if something causes cancer. That is, if it is a carcinogen. They rely on the determination of other respected agencies, such as the International Agency for Research on Cancer, which is part of the WHO, and the US National Toxicology Program. But I found this very interesting, and للأسف I didn't know about it, and I will not reveal the link until the very end. If I could find Wi-Fi, I think I will have Wi-Fi, inshallah. That they have classified the carcinogens into 4 main groups, and the classifications are the following: carcinogenic to humans, and there's a long list of things that are known to be carcinogens. Group 2A, probable carcinogens. Group 2B, possible carcinogens. And then group 3 is not classifiable. But believe it or not, most of the things that we think about in our daily life بيندرجوا تحت not classifiable. يعني which means in there is research, there might be one paper, one publication, but it is not enough to say that this is a carcinogen. تمام؟ وطبعا الفور lists موجودين هنبص عليهم and everything that's in class 1 will also be in class 2, 2B and 3. Everything that's in class 2A will also be in 2B and so forth. So what are the possible carcinogens in our diet? What comes up to our minds? أنا مرتباهم ترتيب نقدر نقول إيه مش the most severe أو the most potent بس كمان the most common. يعني ما فيش حد فينا طبعا يعني ايه بيحب اللحمه وبيحب اللحمه المشويه. تمام؟ يعني لو خيرت حضرتك او حضرتك ما بين المسلوق والمشوي كلنا هنحب المشوي. طيب بنفكر بقى في المشوي ده ازاي؟ هل هو خطر؟ في داتا بتقول ان هو من ال second class because they contain heterocyclic amines or there is a production of heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and this happens when we have the meat exposed to the flames right away, and so the amino acids or the sugars or in whatever we are cooking or barbecuing produces this heterocyclic amines, but the fats that are dripping into the fire and producing the smoke, this produces the polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. تمام? And this smoke is what they also use to smoke. They actually smoke some meat. في أكل مدخن, and this is what they use to smoke this meat. Both of them are considered type 2 or the second class. تمام? So there is evidence, and we should be aware. So you are not supposed to eat لحمة مشوية every day, and I don't think we do, but this is the case for this group of chemicals, or this group of compounds. The second thing is acrylamides. And I have coffee because nobody now does not drink coffee, and it's the trend of Starbucks and Costa and so forth, but it is not alarming. You do not need to be alarmed, but you should be aware. In the browning of food, like coffee, like baked goods, like processed goods, and the color that comes with this browning is due to acrylamides. And acrylamides are not good compounds, so we should not be drinking 4 Costas or 4 Starbucks a day every day, but we should be drinking 1. And it is not على فكرة in the first class خالص of carcinogens, as we will see now. So this is something that we should be thinking about. And not only so, if you ask me what is better, coffee, highly roasted coffee ولا medium roasted coffee ولا substitute coffee, لا highly أو dark roasted coffee is much better than medium roasted, and it's much better than instant coffee. يعني النسكافيه فيه acrylamides تقريبا double القهوة العادية اللي هي الفريش كوفي. تمام؟ البطاطس والفرنش فرايز والكلام الحاجات الحلوة اللي احنا برضو بنحمرها دي فيها acrylamides. وكل ما البطاطس، على فكرة دي برضو معلومة، البطاطس لما بتتخزن في room temperature أحسن من إنها تتخزن في الثلاجة، وده برضو من أسباب وجود الأكريلاميدز بصورة أعلى شوية، أو the production of acrylamides. Next on the list, nitrates and nitrites. مش كلنا بناكل canned foods every day، ومش كلنا بناكل smoked fish every day. متهيأليش حد بياكل رنجة كل يوم. بس this is one of the things that is very known in Asian countries, and they could correlate the eating of these types of foods اللي هي cured أو salted cured fish أو smoked fish be the presence of nitrates and nitrites. The pickling also contains nitrates and nitrites for preservatives. The canned goods do, but we do not eat this every day. Again, so it's okay to have this meal every once in a while. الكارثة بقى الكبيرة، وبتهيألي احنا اتعلمنا الدرس ده، ما تهيأليش ان حد بياكل بقى خلاص لانشون ورا الكلام ده. I hope so. I certainly don't. أنا معزومة بكرة في غدا، ولقيت واحدة كاتبة هتعمل سلطة لانشون. يا نهار أبيض، ولسه في حد بيعمل لانشون؟ بس يعني ده يعني بالمناسبة يعني. فprocessed meats بقى it is under the class 1. تمام. processed meats فيها مشكلتين، انها meat وانها processed. it contains the two dangers. طبعا there is a lot of evidence، ما دام هي في class 1 هيبقى في a lot of evidence-based studies on the fact that this type of food does cause cancer. There are some يعني details in the slides, but I'm going to pass because I want to finish on time. But this is a group 1 carcinogen. Processed foods, not meat, because we again we go to baked goods and chips, and this also contains acrylamide. تمام. ومش بس كده، anything that is processed الورقه اللي بتبقى فيها اللايننج اللي جوه هنتكلم عليه تاني. فthis adds on to كمان المشكله. وانا بتكلم يعني بدل ما حضراتكم ما تبصوا على السلايدز، احسبوا في دماغكم انتوا بتاكلوا من الكلام ده في الاسبوع قد ايه، عشان ال take home message ما تبقاش تخض قوي يعني. Next on the list is aflatoxins, and this is something that worries me. And it worries me because I know that we don't all يعني think about it a lot, but contaminants are something that we need to think about. And something that I tell my students when we teach pharmacognosy, out of even quality. When you go and you buy some kind of herbal product from El Attar, it is better to buy something in the entire form, not powdered form, because you don't know what's in the powder. You don't know where it was ground, you don't know what was in it. So when you see the entire plant and you know that it is free of any kind of contamination, it is better for you than to just buy some powder. تمام? So aflatoxins are present in crops, are present in peanuts. بيتكلموا عليه كتير قوي في البيناتس، وكتير قوي مننا لما بيشتري سوداني ممكن يكون طعمه متغير شويه محدش ياكله. الافضل طبعا والاصح ان الواحد يدوق الحاجه لو ممكن تاخد سامبل قبل ما تاكلها، بس this is very very severe and it does cause a lot of problems. And this again is a cancer atlas from the I think it was from the WHO, and it shows you that the main cause of cancer in China are the aflatoxins من كتر the consumption of herbal drugs. And the other problem, of course, is that they have hepatitis B virus. But I'm showing you this to just prove to you that aflatoxins in herbal drugs is a major problem. Next on the list is the bisphenol A, and we are concerned with the leaching of plastics. We hear about it a lot, but amazingly, it is not top 1. It is not on the list number 1. فيعني احنا we should take care of the leaching of plastics, whether in the microwave or in the drinking bottles, but it is not as we يعني consider. Of course this is something that I read, but يعني it is also for you to know. Next on the list are the PFAs, or the perfluoroalkyl and the polyfluoroalkyl substances. And these substances are found in water, they are found in food, and they also the containers that we cook in اللي هي non-stick pans and pots زي التيفال مثلا وكده, this might be leaching out of it. طيب اتقسموا نصين في أمريكا. في نص قال لا we will consider it group 2B يعني the third class, وفي ناس قالت لا احنا we will consider it يعني a higher case. They did not find enough evidence-based studies to link this to cancer. بس being in the third class, it is quite برضو something يعني that we should consider when we cook or when we deal with our foods. And this is why reading labels is very important. Next on the list are foodborne microbes. We all know when we have some kind of inflammation, if it is a chronic inflammation, then it usually ends up with some kind of cancer. We should not leave ourselves with an infection for long periods of time. Even sometimes an acute inflammation, يعني something simple as people who like drinking steaming hot drinks, if you have an ulcer in your esophagus and it keeps on for quite a long time, you probably should be aware and you probably should check it, because this is not something that you should live with. So aside from the viruses, something that I want to stress on is this, ال H. pylori اللي احنا كتير قوي بنروح نحلل عندي H. pylori. I thought it was something يعني عادي and common, يعني no problem. No, it is something that we should consider and that we should treat. يعني if you have a problem with H. pylori and that is causing you some kind of chronic inflammation and ulcers in your digestive system, then you should treat it, because it is directly related to cancer. الحاجة التانية كمان in H. pylori in your system, and if you ingest foods that contain nitrites, this is even a more worse scenario for you and could be cancer related for sure positively. يعني الحاجة بقى اللي احنا فاكرينها causes and it doesn't really cause، أو يعني مش هيحصل إن احنا we would consume artificial sweeteners that much are artificial sweeteners such as aspartame. We've been hearing يعني long stories about aspartame. وتشربوش diet coke, تشربوش diet Pepsi, whatever. So this is what the EFSA says. The EFSA says studies do not suggest an increased risk associated with aspartame consumption for leukemia or brain tumors or a variety of cancers, including brain lymphatic and blood cancers. And this was something that we heard a lot. There are rumors, there are scientific rumors, and it might erupt from one single animal study. But if they did not find enough, then it shouldn't be classified, and it's not even classified. أنا مش قصدي أحط diet coke عشان أعمل إعلان against it, because it seems to be completely safe according to this. But if my daily intake, or the recommended daily intake, or the allowed daily intake for aspartame, according to EFSA, is 40 milligrams per kilogram per day, and I am a person who weighs 60 kilograms, then if I drink 12 cans of Cokes, I will not get to the limit. I need to drink 36 cans of Coke to reach the limit, which is impossible. الحاجة اللي بعدها، أنا طبعًا قاعدة عمالة أفكر إيه تاني إحنا بنخاف منه أو بنتكلم عليه. طيب هو أنا لو زودت قوي certain minerals أو زودت certain elements أو زودت certain vitamins، هو can this cause cancer؟ صدقوني أنا دورت كتير قوي وما لقيتش حاجة. طبعًا ما فيش أي حاجة من الكلام ده على ال societies والsites والinstitutes. دورت في literature. I only found these two. An overview of possible diagnostic value, cancer, an overview of the possible diagnostic value, and all that was mentioned was a very limited link between copper, iron, and iodine. بس برضو it was not enough. As for vitamins, I found something that مع إن in 1981 they said that beta carotene was good for you, and there was this 2014 study that said that beta carotene may increase the risk of lung and stomach cancer. Vitamin E increases prostate cancer and colorectal adenoma, and it was also just one study. I thought of food colorants. I thought of flavor enhancers or food enhancers. I couldn't really track something solid. I did find this, however, in the newly banned flavors are so and so and so. But when I went back to check the lists, not most of them were there. So it's now time to reveal the list just so that you see what we're talking about. مش عارفة مش باينة عندي. أنا هي باينة عندي على السكرين بس مش باينة على السكرين هنا. ممكن حد من التكنيكال يساعدني بعد إذنكم؟ في حد من التكنيكال ممكن يساعد يا جماعة؟
بس طيب دكتور شيرويت بعد
أنا طيب I wanted to show you the list. since we are خلاص out of time, my take-home message would be two things: variety and the way that you're living. You do not have to eat this stuff every day, but if you do it once a week, it's fine. And read your labels. يعني دلوقتي there is emphasis on that every food product that we eat should be labeled with the content. So read your labels and make sure that you understand them, and make sure that you go through the lists and see and make sure that none of them are in the food that you eat. This is just an overview of the last profile of in Egypt, and as you can see, the highest rates of cancer are still in liver and in breast cancer. And the last thing that I want to say, a reminder about our lifestyle and the fact that modifying or avoiding the following is the main preventive measures. And as you can see, eat a healthy diet with plenty of fruit and vegetables, just because that if you have anything that contains nitrates and nitrates, على فكرة vegetables do contain nitrates, but just because they also contain antioxidants, so they balance it out. تمام? And I end my presentation with this: balance in life is the key to almost everything. So balance your life. Do not be يعني afraid. Eat whatever you want in moderation and live in moderation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sherweit, for this excellent and valuable presentation. And we'll move to the second one.